Happy Sunday, folks. Welcome back to the channel. We are in the kitchen today. Names, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Is making us or seasoning some pork chops that we are going to put on the grill. So, not a whole lot going on this Sunday. This is how we spend it, and you get to see it.
Right now I'm just cleaning the sink. The pork chops just finished thawing out, so I just put them in a little bit of vinegar just for a second. Since it's pork, I'm not gonna leave it in the vinegar for too long, but I typically like to season the meat. Well, I'm going to put these pork chops in here for a second just to rinse them out from the vinegar, and I'm not gonna put them in the sink without cleaning the sink first, so that is what I'm doing right now. And then before I season these, I'm gonna pat them down a little bit. And then typically speaking, I like to let them marinate before he puts them on the grill. So those will probably sit in the fridge, I don't know, maybe a few hours before he gets ready to put those on the fridge. Pretty thick pork chops. Somewhat pat these down. We are not huge on pork. Every now and then we'll do pork. And so today we were talking about wanting to put something on the grill because it's pretty nice weather outside right now. And so that is where the pork chops came into play. For some reason, babe, I took out one glove. Can you, actually it's okay. I was gonna say, can you get me another glove, but it's fine. So I like to put just a little bit of mustard on there first, preferably brown mustard. Use what you have or don't put it on there at all, it's up to you. There's a slew of different seasonings I'm gonna put on my food because why not? Don't know where that camera is angled, so you may be able to see those. If you can't, you'll see them when I start pouring them in there. I'm gonna start with a little bit of seasonal. There is no measurement. I know, Bev, I know you asked me for measurements. I don't have any. I season till it looks like the color I want it to look like, or it tastes the way I want it to taste. Be like those people who show you what they're putting in there. Because we're about to put it on the grill, I do go a little bit heavy-handed just in the seasonings because in my opinion, if you don't put enough, you're not gonna taste anything once you get it on the grill. And pork does absorb quite a bit of seasoning, so keep that in mind as well. You don't want it to be salty, which is why you'll see me put a limited amount of Tony's in there because Tony's just has a lot of sodium in it. Can you see it? Good, awesome. We recommend you don't inhale the seasoning. All right, so that's one side. kind of mix it in there. I am gonna add some more because I am gonna flip these over. Don't ask me the purpose of the mustard. Couldn't tell you. It just gives it a good flavor. I use it for certain meats, not all of them. I actually do that when I do my ribs as well. I put a little bit of mustard on there before I make this mixture of like a dry rub. There is a such thing as too much mustard. These are pretty thick pork chops. I don't know how much you can see those, but they're relatively thick. So we've got an adequate amount in there. Not too much, not too little. All right. I like to just really get that seasoning in there to make sure you get in all the little fat pieces. Some people will take some of these little pieces around the bone and cut some of that fat off. I'll be perfectly honest, if you're eating pork to begin with, you might as well cook it with the fat because that's where the flavor is. Same thing with beef, but to each his own. If you don't want the fat on there, cut it off. I'm not going to. All right. It's looking pretty decent. I'm gonna add a little bit more adobo because again, why not? Love adobo seasoning. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more Mrs. Dash. And last but not least, which I didn't put in there to begin with, was onion powder. Oh, I love that. This is empty. I wonder who put this back in our drawer. I'll give y'all a clue. It wasn't me. Because why would I put an empty container of something in a drawer full of things that are not empty? Hey-oh, I can tell you who did that. So nonetheless, we're gonna do garlic powder instead. We are going to close that out with a little bit of roasted garlic.
Again, we didn't see your roasted garlic because you didn't put it towards the...
My husband
There
keeps
you
telling
go.
me I need to angle it to a certain degree. I'm gonna be real chill, I'm not gonna do all that,
There
but
you
he's
go.
more than welcome to. I have 2 hands and one of which is covered in seasoning, so. Alrighty. So these beautiful babies are ready to marinate for a bit. And then I think we're also having potatoes, so I'll probably figure out if I'm making mashed potatoes or if we are making some roasted potatoes. We will see. All right, so that feels good to me. Those look good. They're good and seasoned up. Again, here are all those lovely seasonings. If you want a little Creole seasoning, I love Seasonal. I already said Mrs. Dash and adobo. This is just a little, it's like a barbecue. It says for ribs. I've used it on anything we put on the grill because it just gives it a good kick. Love a little roasted garlic as well. Typically I would use onion powder, but since my husband hates me, this was empty, so we didn't have that. Look, there's not a freaking drop in there. Don't you love that, ladies and gents? A little bit of Goya. I'm gonna throw this away because this is also empty, but there's a backup because the seasoning is great. It really does need to go in everything. If you don't get it, you should get it. And then of course I put some garlic powder. So seems like a lot of stuff. I always tell people use what you have. We like our food well seasoned, but not salty. So none of these things are gonna make it salty if you don't overdo it. Season it to taste and to color, and that is a pretty good color for me before we put that on the grill. All right, potato
All
time.
right, we started lounging and quite a few hours has passed. The day is pretty much over. It is late evening, but Naima has the potatoes on and I'm getting ready to go light the grill. So let's see how this goes. Guess I gotta clean that out from my last use. right, I'm gonna let that do its thing for a few minutes. Close it, let the choco get set, get ready. Then we'll throw on some pork chops. Let's go check on the chops.
Mush these up just a little bit. Just about do it. As far as mashed potatoes go, it really just depends on what we have. So we happen to have the little small golden potatoes already, so that's what we're using. I am going to cheat when it comes to kind of whipping them up a little bit. I'm going to use a little immersion blender just for a few seconds, but I do like to mash them up a little bit. If I'm using these golden potatoes, I don't peel them. I just clean the skin off of them before I boil them. So mash them up just a bit. I'm gonna put some butter in here. Depends on how much butter you feel like you like or dislike. I like a lot of butter, so I'm gonna put a lot of butter in it. Add a little bit of milk. Mix that up just a little bit. I like my mashed potatoes a little bit more creamy. KB does not, so we do kind of a happy medium. So again, a little bit more milk. Using 2% because that's what we have. Also, before I use the immersion blender, I'm going to add some seasonal, add a little bit of garlic powder, and literally just a dash of truffle salt. And as you can see, I'm barely using it. Again, if I was just making this for me, I would probably make that a little bit more creamy. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter again. As y'all can tell, I like butter. And then just give it a good little mix. Now this is probably the consistency that KB's gonna like, so I'm gonna leave it at that. For me, I'd probably blend this up a little bit more, but consistency-wise, I think that's good. Get me a little spoon and taste that to make sure it doesn't need any more seasoning. I think that's good. I'm gonna add just a touch more garlic powder, because why not? Boom. Mix, mix, mix. And there we go.
Boom. Let's go see what this fire doing. All right, not quite ready, but almost getting there. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my top. Let that do what it do.
I need my whole wreath out of there.
Pork chop shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna let it do a few minutes on each side and bada bing, bada boom. All right, that's it, good folks.
See you next week.
Thanks for cooking with us. And like she said, we'll see you next week.